Hello and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the semi-final matchup in the Mega Man 6 tournament here on SpeedGaming 2. Tonight's race is between Resistingframe and world record holder Ppotdot. I'm Mr. Cab here to tell you all about this action as it unfolds. We have, of course, I just said the world record holder in Ppotdot with his 33-34. I'm sorry, the two numbers come right after each other. Only so much I can do about that sometimes. Resistingframe still in the top 10 with that 34-38. So Ppotdot knows he needs to keep up the pressure here. Otherwise, Resistingframe will just go right past him. This race is a best of 3 to move on to that final round. Single elimination in that best of 3 sense. The winner of this will be facing one of Cool Kid or Madu, which I believe is happening tomorrow. I haven't checked that schedule in a little bit, but I know they were talking about it. So stay tuned. We'll get that excitement going as we get into the end of the Mega Man 6 tournament here. We have let the racers know in race time that they are free to ready up whenever. So hopefully pretty soon we'll get that started. And just before we get started, thanks for watching, everybody. Always glad to see you. Just their path to get here in this tournament. This semifinal is round 4, as it were. Both of these runners had a bye in the opening round of the tournament. Ppotdot getting past Time Link and Mad Mega X to get here. Resistingframe getting through Mr. Cab, I think I know that guy, and Dark Terex, veteran of the game. That one went to 3 races. This one looks to be just as exciting, honestly. Ppotdot, a master of the game, but you never know what's going to happen when you get 2 runners up here in the top tier of a game. One mistake might be the whole race, so you just never know. So yes, just as soon as everybody gets ready in the room, we will be coming to you with more Mega Man 6 action. And just while we're ready, of course, don't forget to follow the runners. Their names are out there in chat. They're also there on the screen, just like they're spelled. Twitch.tv/resistingframe, Twitch.tv/Ppotdot1. We can't have these races without them. We love them. If you haven't been following them and you love that Mega Man content, go out there, follow both of them. Ppotdot, also known for such fabulous games as Mega Man 5, Mega Man 7, and something called Mega Man X7. It's a game I'm told exists. Also our old favorite, Super Adventure Island 2. Runners have readied up, so any moment now. We see them resetting here because this title screen sometimes takes a moment to load up. And I'm sure both of them don't want to be in that awkward situation where there's a title screen transition right when the race bot says go. You can see the timer winding down for Resistingframe. So any minute now. We'll just have a couple of sync up issues in a moment, but that's fine. They're about 5 seconds apart to begin. Of course, we're starting out in Windman stage. A very nice stage for just buster-only tactics. Doesn't gain that much time from weapons, especially if you can mash like these two can. The Ppotdot does get hit by the panda. Not a big deal. You're going to see a lot of just little 1-second time losses here in this race, I'm sure. First stage, all about movement, just knowing where to slide over these fans so you don't get pushed in the air, knowing how to handle the improv room. Both of them taking out the floating flying cannons. I don't know what to call those things. They're dead now, though. Resistingframe and a little bit of just the sync. They are in sync now. Didn't see any clutch jumps there. Not complaining too much. It's kind of a silly thing to go for those one-tile slides in a race situation. But you never know. So yeah, I need to make sure I don't get caught here just watching these two blaze a trail through the stage either. There's definitely a lot of just little tech in the stage it's imperceptible if you don't know to look for it. Just the way they're going to walk off some platforms, slide off other platforms, making sure that the fan doesn't push them into walls to get here into Windman, the fight itself. Windman, not too hard of a robot master. The most annoying thing is going to be when Windman goes into the air and flies over a buster shot. Of course, 28 hit points, so we're looking for 9 full charge shots and then anything else to end it. Both runners here using the so-called wind dance. I believe it's when you cancel a slide going back. Mega Man's charge advances an extra frame every time that happens, so just looking to pick up little extra frames. And both Ppotdot at least jumping against the right-hand wall to just unlag the game. It's a weird thing that I think the TAS discovered at some point, that when the Robot Masters explode and jump against that right-hand wall, the game lags less. Who knows why? Either way, Resistingframe with about a 1 second advantage, which is effectively nothing with 15 stages left in the video game. Into Flame Man, another popular choice for a first Robot Master. Most of the speedrunning community, of course, has gone to Windman first, but you'll still see some Flame first out there. Of course, a big thing in Mega Man 6, I'm sure a lot of our viewers know this already, you can't jump out of slides, so you're going to see a lot of sliding and then either pushing right, Roland, what is going on, or pushing the A button again to cancel the slide and get up. So you'll see that a lot. Every time you see one of these sort of 2-tile slides, 1-tile slides, the runner has to cancel that slide somehow before they can jump. So both of these runners, whenever you see that, just know like they're putting in effort to get those little extra bits of time, because Mega Man does slide much faster than he walks. How much of a lead do you need moving into the castle stages to have a 75% chance of winning? I don't even know. I think you would need multiple minutes, honestly, with these two, because any one mistake, especially when you get into like X3, could be everything. Ppotdot shooting that enemy up into the heavens. Getting into Flame Man's room, not even a full second ahead of Resistingframe. So this is why we're here second. The Windstorm is just that much of a better weapon to use against Flame Man than the Buster, mostly because it goes through those flame pillars that you might have seen once because the fight's already over. Just an easier weapon fight than going into Windman with Centaur. Yeah, pretty much still that 1 second. So Resistingframe might have like lost 1 second. Ppotdot up by 1 second, which once again is effectively nothing, with now only 14 stages remaining as we go into Blizzard Man stage. Blizzard Man, with those slide cancels we were talking about a second ago, has the added fun of ice physics. If you use the opposite direction to sort of left cancel on the ice, you will be boomeranged back the other direction at high speed. Not usually what you want, so very critical to remember to A cancel on this stage. Looks like neither runner is going to go for the easy E-Tank. Ppotdot, I think, has said this a couple of times. Just ammo in this game is routed so tightly sometimes you don't want to go up and even use like the 3 shots it would take to get that E-Tank. There's a few extra hits against Resisting Frame. It's given Ppotdot a couple of extra seconds of lead here. So this is the so-called butter screen. Ppotdot is getting it very easily. Resisting Frame having to stop in that last ceiling gap there. They call it butter because if you can make all those slides and make it through in one cycle, it's smooth, like butter. Ppotdot inexplicably not going for bomb skip. Don't worry about bomb skip if you don't know what it is. It's a meme, but it does technically exist. Ppotdot going to get into Blizzard Man on the ground at 6:14. Resisting Frame having just a rough Blizzard Man stage, getting in probably about 6.5 seconds behind just as the clock strikes 6:21. So you want to see no rolls here. Ppotdot, though, out of ammo. We were talking about how tightly ammo is routed in this game, and there you go. So that weapon switch is going to give Resisting Frame a little bit of time left back, especially with those extra rolls coming in there. Resisting Frame able to jump against the right wall this time, but Ppotdot's still out just under the 650 mark. Resisting Frame now out just under the 654 mark, so just in that fight alone, running out of ammo, costing Ppotdot a couple of seconds, but now has a 4-second lead. I don't know if I want to say that one's effectively nothing. I mean, just to keep up a pattern, maybe we could say that. But now I have to do math on how many stages are left, and 13 is a hard number to come up with. Plantman stage. Plantman stage. Let's focus on the game, right? Plantman stage, there's a little bit of precise movement here just to make sure you get under these stompers, but we're really about to find out exactly why Flame Man's weapon is so good. And Blizzard Man stage, I mean, obviously using fire in an ice theme stage, not really surprising. Resisting Frame just letting loose that buster shot too early. Oh no. But you saw Ppotdot annihilate the giant gorilla robot with flame. Resisting Frame needing a second hop there. But the flame shots, I believe, do 4 points of damage. That's one more even than a full charge buster shot. You get that sort of firewall that does a little extra damage. Well, it doesn't do extra damage. It lingers. The arc of that shot is great. I like to joke around that this game is Mega Man 6 Kill It With Fire. But here we're about to see sort of one of the more famous tricks in this game. If you're familiar with Mega Man 6, you know you're supposed to shoot these little flower platforms with the buster to open them and jump off of them that way. But you do have about 2 seconds, maybe 6 if you're walking on them, to jump, and those are the so-called platforms that Ppotdot just executed. Resisting Frame, of course, there, when I kind of winced, fell in the gap, got knocked in by the fish, not so space fish. Was going to get the extra flame here just to have sort of a consistent ammo count. Ppotdot doing something very interesting here, getting the 6 hits. So we can't yell at him this time. So Resisting Frame is going through this section again. Ppotdot now with a pretty strong lead. Resisting Frame almost getting killed by a weapon drop there. Plantman's AI, and really most Robot Master AI in this game, has a quirk where if you are kind of right in the middle of their hitbox, you're standing in the same place, and they have to decide whether they want to go left or right. I think that's why this is a Plantman thing. Plantman just doesn't know what to do and runs around like crazy, and you can get those 6 hits in instead of the usual sort of 2 hits. So it saves quite a bit of time. Resisting Frame also getting 6 hits. Very nice. Either way, Ppotdot now quite a bit ahead in Tomahawk Man stage. This one, much like Blizzard, we were talking about this, routed out so that you're going to use all of that fire. So, short of getting any drops, expect them to be finishing this stage with, I think it's 1 point of fire ammo left. But every one of them is just used for good. one shot to take out the little skull walker robots, one shot to take out the little guys on the ceiling, one shot to take out this little race car thing. 2 shots to take out the Cowboy Joes at the start, though. And just taking down the Met machine? I don't even know what to call that. But of course, taking down a mid-boss that fast is always a good thing. Ppotdot going right past Proto Man. We don't need the energy balancer today. No flame left. There you go. So let's talk about Tomahawk Man. Tomahawk Man weak to the plant barrier, which is, for whatever reason, an exact ammo shield weapon for this game. So you have to get in Tomahawk Man's face. You need to deal with the excessively long iframes that are kind of meant to force you to use the Mega Buster. Tomahawk Man didn't even really try there. That was beautiful execution from Ppotdot. Resistingframe using a lot of extra fire there. Using Buster on the last screen isn't that big a deal, but the extra weapon switches are. That platform that Resistingframe slid on the screen before Proto Man, a so-called ride-and-slide, because the platform is about, well, that one's a little more than one slide long. More about those when we get into Wily 2, if not sooner. So Ppotdot already into Yamato Man's tower. It's Resistingframe just getting into Tomahawk Man. So Ppotdot just building on this lead now. A little bit of trouble in the Dragonfly screen. I don't know if the 2 racers are watching each other at all. This is not a randomizer race, so they are allowed to. So I don't know if that's going to affect Ppotdot's choice of strategies at all. It's going to take anything safer. I feel like Ppotdot is the type of runner that always goes all out, though, until it's very clear he doesn't have to. But just something to keep an eye on. And of course, we're still early enough that one mistake does bring Resistingframe an awful large distance back into this. If Ppotdot is in fact playing on his laptop, that is true. Might not have the screen real estate. Yamato Man actually is a good demonstration of another quirk of Robot Masters in this game. They will only ever, unless your name is Nightman, they will only ever do the same thing twice in a row. So Yamato Man with only 2 attacks, if he does the same thing twice in a row, you know what's coming next. Of course, Ppotdot took him out before we even got to see what the 5th pattern of a jump was going to be. That's good for Ppotdot, though. So if you're just joining us, Ppotdot here with quite the lead because Resistingframe got hit by a fish in Plant Man before the plant form section. Fell in the drink. But now Ppotdot does have to deal with one of these sections of this game that could be troublesome. Well, now he's through the spike ceiling section. It's a little bit of a harrowing jump. I don't care how many times you've beaten this video game and how fast you've done it. Spiked ceilings are one of those things where all it takes is your A button to stick a little bit too long and suddenly you're in trouble. That looked a little harrowing for Ppotdot, to be honest. I think he got stuck on the ledge trying to jump up in the first place. He handled it, though. That's playing this game too much. You see, I guess it's the improvisation, just the knowledge of how to react in those sort of deadly situations. This is Ppotdot's favorite screen because it has Mad Nerds on it. I don't know if that's true or not, but Ppotdot loves the Mad Nerds. Resisting Frame now also coming up to the spike ceiling while Ppotdot deals with Bouncy Castle. Resisting Frame not even pausing. No damage, just goes right through that screen. The spikes on that screen, if they get low enough, Mega Man will treat it like a ceiling and not stand up. Certainly one of the faster ways through that room, also one of the riskiest ways through that room to not take any iframes or pause at all. And go for it. Ppotdot fighting Nightman. Shoutouts to Nintendo Power number 44. Yamato Spear, very effective. A piercing weapon, goes right through most enemy shields, including Nightman. Baron reporting we have about a 1-minute lead for Ppotdot. Beam out around 16-14 or so. So that's what we're looking at for when does Resisting Frame get there. Still a lot of Mega Man left, but Ppotdot, it's certainly Ppotdot's race right now. Resisting Frame, just a little bit of movement there, getting caught in the ceiling. Nice miracle jump from Ppotdot, getting over that gap underneath the falling Metroid. Centaur Man stage can, of course, be completed a lot easier with Nightman's weapon equipped pretty much from the beginning. It's a great weapon. Does a fair amount of damage, can be angled up and down on the diagonals, much like Shadow Blade from Mega Man 3. Doesn't have the full Metal Blade up and down shot, though. Beam out for Resisting Frame around 17-17, so yeah, about 63 seconds. And Ppotdot going to take the very slow and deliberate damage boost there. Not very slow, I guess, but very safe. Even with that being the checkpoint room, just not looking to take that death. Yeah. Ppotdot has had a few slides that feel like they've kind of gone into the walls. A few things that just might throw off your timing if you don't know how to look for it or how to deal with it. Certainly in a race situation, that plus little things like getting drops, making sure you don't fall in pits. Just things to look out for. Look for those reactions, especially when you are going at top speeds like this. I missed the ladder jump. Did Ppotdot get it? And stupid time save strats, which you see a lot of in these top level runs. If you're not looking for it, you just completely miss it. But it saves, a second here or there. Resisting Frame, actually on the same screen where we call out Ppotdot for playing it safe. Resisting Frame dies in that very spike pit. He canceled that slide early and jumped. And he definitely needed to. Resisting Frame through that screen on the second attempt. So Ppotdot with at least a 63-second lead after 8 robots into the infamous Mr. X castle. Mr. X, of course, if you missed the intro, actually controlling Dr. Wily the whole time. Certainly not Dr. Wily in a bad disguise. Resisting Frame trying to get the ladder jump, not able to get it. So Ppotdot there doesn't look like much, but jumping and back boosting off that second cannon gets you through the third cannon. One less hit, one fewer hit. So Mr. X1, sort of the rush jet stage. Is Ppotdot going to go for the fast window? He is. There's a significantly safer way to get into that window. It only, I think, takes maybe 1 second extra, if even. I think Ppotdot is with me, at least old me, with saying there's another way to get in that window. And that's sort of what I was talking about earlier. Ppotdot, just the type of runner who's not going to let off the gas at all. sure I saw all of the flames go in there at first. But Ppotdot done with rounder 2 before Resistingframe even gets into the stage. So a full stage ahead at this point. Pretty good kill. I'm sure he wishes he got it a little faster. But certainly us here, the viewers watching this situation, know exactly what's going on there. Mr. X2, if you're looking in the ground of the stage, you're going to see these sort of single tile purple platforms with like yellow construction cross hatching in them. Those are fall through platforms, so you're going to see jumps over them. That in-sync switching of Rush, it's like they traded. Ppotdot accidentally switching to Centaur Flash for a second there. Not a weapon you really want to use, mostly because you need it all for Windman and refights. So some very deliberate movement here to get the Mets to do what he wants. Some walking instead of sliding there to make sure that timing works out for him. Didn't like the first jump. Gets a drop. He'll take it. He just needed to react to it. I think he got through without a second hit. Very nice. Resistingframe with a slightly faster kill of rounder 2. So he'll pick up a little bit of time there. Of course, he needs a lot of help to get back into this race. Ppotdot getting a favorable pattern from the wall climber here. It does troll him a little bit at the end, but no big deal. The secret to that fight, that little kind of pipe section you see Mega Man standing on, generally, if you are standing on the left side of it, you'll hit the top of the screen. If you're standing on the right side of it, you'll hit the piston on the bottom half of the screen. Resistingframe probably checking his down button right now. Jumped into some spikes that he clearly wanted to slide under. Maybe it was an A cancel. That is a possibility. Fortunately, it's on the very first screen of the stage, so it's not a big time loss. But Resistingframe, of course, doesn't have any time to lose. So Resistingframe, at this point, you might be kind of sitting there thinking just how hard to push. What are you practicing at this point? You certainly don't want to completely give up. You want to keep the pressure up, but you got to wonder what his mindset is at this moment. Is this now a practice run for him where he can kind of play fast and loose and do what he wants? Get ready for game 2, knowing that he's going to have to win another 2 races, play the game 2 more times after this if he wants to move on. Ppotdot, of course, here in actual Rush Jet the stage on Mr. X3, taking the under route here, which is terrifying for players like me. And for Ppotdot, they call it just another day. Rush Jet is so bizarre, punch, 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 in this game. Just with the jetpack and tapping A and knowing how to control your vertical momentum, it's crazy. This boss, not joking, is called Metunger Z. Its true weakness, weapon-wise, is Blizzard, but Blizzard is slow and clumsy and expensive. And Pow Suit is amazing and faster and fun to use. It's kind of dangerous because you do want to make sure you don't take too much damage against it. Go figure, the tank hits like a tank. Very easy to take a lot of damage in that fight if you're not used to the patterns, but it's not too bad if you kind of know how it generally moves. We're going to have to talk more about Mr. X3 in the next race, because it is actually a fun stage. Mr. X4 is... honestly, X3 and X4 are both experiences with going over very large chasms and trying to survive. Ppotdot, again, with a little trouble getting stuck on a corner, trying to jump over it, sliding into it extra times. But you can see all the cannons, all the birds, trying to stop Mega Man, trying to knock him into the pit. You're going to get some of the Cowboy Sniper Joes soon. Resistingframe is scaring me with that jet. This screen doesn't look too bad, but it's very easy to get sniped out of the air. As Ppotdot says here, the last cannon in this stage, definitely shoot it or it will shoot you. So there's a very deliberate, because of course this is also an NES Mega Man game, you do not get your weapon energy back between stages. So the amount of night they're using is very deliberate, very routed out. You don't want to use too much, or you have to get more later on a refill for refights, or fight Centaur Man with Buster. Pick one. Ooh. Ppotdot taking a couple of extra hits there. Maybe that's the strat. Fail D. Type it out there in chat. But he gets through. He stops Mr. X restoring. Oh my god, it's Dr. Wily. Mega Man jumps backwards. Don't tell me you can't express emotion with an NES sprite. And so for... I'm not going to count how many matches are in this tournament because it's in another browser tab. But that manyth time in this tournament, we rediscover that Mr. X is actually Dr. Wily, wearing cheap sunglasses. Resistingframe working his way through X4, trying to keep up the pace, build confidence. Ppotdot in the spike drop stage. I don't know who popularized this sort of stage design in the late NES era, but I hate them. The trick here, Ppotdot needs to use a little jet to start slowing down on that screen so that he can actually reach this platform, which makes the stage much shorter. Little internet trouble, I'm sure, such as racing on the internet, but we love him anyway. Resistingframe shot too late and got sniped by the last cannon. Oh no. That did not feel right. Like, he shot it. I didn't feel like that was a late shot, and the cannon still just... This game. If you're Resistingframe at this point, you're just hoping that all of the bad luck is getting out now, and you're going to go into game 2 and try and come back. Can't worry about this one. You got to just burn the tape and win the elimination game. Ppotdot against Mechasaurus here. Resistingframe lost in the lag. Oh my goodness. At this point, I feel like you have to laugh about it before you cry about it. Just a lot of things on the screen there, and I can almost imagine the A button just had to have eaten that jump. Mechasaurus, of course, a fun boss that has an interesting hitbox, and we'll try and talk about that more in Race 2. Ppotdot going to make, for my money, one of the harder jumps in this game. Makes it look easy. It's actually not that hard, it's just one of those things. It's time for Resistingframe not even trying to shoot it, just trying to get hit by a bullet to make it. With those iframes. He's in, he's going to punch the tether ball. But Ppotdot now in the ride and slide screen. Not really trying to slide the full distance on them. Is using Windstorm both because it takes out the Mad Nerds and because it's the weakness of this boss. Type fail D for Resistingframe. Ppotdot with the 2-stage lead coming out of Wily 2. Taking out the cannon on wheels boss. Do we still call it Big Jumbo Wheel? Shoutouts to BJW. Ppotdot's into the refight stage. There's a little stage here. You want to use these fans to... They push and pull Mega Man. You want to use that momentum to get just a little extra distance. Some of these jumps, if you try and make it without the fans' assistance, it's not a good idea. Wasn't sure Ppotdot came out of that slide before pausing. You cannot switch to a rush adapter while sliding, and nor can you slide while wearing a rush adapter. But he's up, he's through the stage, he's got ammo, he's good to go. Resistingframe using a little too much jet, just gets shot into the spikes by the top fan. There isn't really a good checkpoint in that stage until you get to the very end. So he's going to have to start from the beginning of it. Ppotdot with exactly enough flame. Always remember, if you're in the refight room, you're climbing up here and you're forgetting which weapon do I use first. It's Mega Man 6, kill it with fire. From here, the fights in refights are pretty much all the same as their first editions. Windman is the main exception because you have Centaur Flash, but it's a full screen attack, so it's not very interesting to describe that fight. You're still dodging the same way, you're just occasionally pushing B. The rest of these, just for lagging purposes, you're going to see weapon switches at the start of the fights inside the Robot Master chambers. It lags the game when pausing, I know, right? Slightly less, so it's a little faster to do it that way. Save just a little bit of time by not pausing in the teleporter room at all, ever. And I believe here, specifically with Windman, it said you want to switch weapons at the end of that fight before coming into this fight. Not too clear on the why. I'm guessing, much like most speedruns, the answer is because it's faster. Centaur Man trolling Ppotdot, just teleporting around everywhere. So, here is Nightman. We're pretty much done with the ammo management, with the exception of the Yamato Man fight coming up here. We're going to go to plant first, that's fine. Go for 6 hits. The setup, I believe, is slightly different. And let's see if he gets it. Gets the 6 hit. We can't complain to Ppotdot at all. Very nice. Yamato Man, of course, weak to the Silver Tomahawk. All phases of the Dr. Wily machine is weak to the same Silver Tomahawk, so there's a little bit of an ammo crunch here. Don't waste shots. So we know a jump is coming because he ran along the ground twice. Ppotdot demonstrating what I kind of sort of started talking about a while ago. Out of Wily 3 at 33.07. So looking at really a very low 34 finish for Ppotdot at this point. Resistingframe through Wily 2, it looks like. Wily 3 just a long stage because of refights. Public service announcement, never slide off that ledge if you want this weapon drop. Just don't do it. You won't get the weapon drop, you'll be sad. Wily 4, sort of the rare stage in this game that is as easy to play as it looks. Outside of that opening, don't slide off the ledge, really no tricks here, just use Tomahawk, hop in a couple of spots, and get into this fight and use Tomahawk. Wily, the big machine, has 2 phases. It's 1 Tomahawk wasted for Ppotdot. He is going to use POW. Punch, punch, punch. POW suit is the universal backup of this game. If you are ever not confident in your ability to have ammo or land shots with a weapon for whatever the reason, POW suit is very strong. Missing with another Tomahawk there. I did not realize how little Tomahawk Ppotdot actually had there. 34-30 pretty much. Ppotdot taking game 1. Resistingframe pushing the dot forfeit button. Can't blame him. At this point, he's pretty much practiced all of the stages that he needs to. Probably wants to take a quick break here and get ready for round 2. And with that, we are going to take a short break here. So stretch your legs, get ready for round 2. Don't forget to follow the runners. Let's get that out there in chat too. Remember, you can find speedrunning and other randomizers type tournaments here on the SpeedGaming family of networks. So don't forget to follow SpeedGaming. They let us have a lot of fun on these networks. We couldn't do a lot of these tournaments without them. Follow the runners. You can follow me as a commentator if you want to, but definitely follow the runners, Ppotdot1 and Resistingframe. And again, we will be back shortly with Game 2. Welcome back here. We're getting ready for Game 2. Our runners have readied up. If you missed Game 1, Ppotdot, our top seed in the tournament and the world record holder, took the first race with a commanding 34-32. A few mistakes here and there, but, you know, a strong finish. Resistingframe just with a couple of unfortunate deaths here and there. Definitely one of those races he's probably going to try and just put it out of his mind, burn the tape, and remember all the good parts of that first race, and that he is, as he put it at the end of the first race's chat, all warmed up now and ready to go. 34-32, certainly an achievable time for Resistingframe, and Ppotdot needs to perform just as well and just as flawlessly to pull this off a second time. So, very shortly, we will be starting Game 2. You can see the countdown on Resistingframe. Let's go! In the first race, both runners got through the first 3, even 3.5 Robot Masters relatively in sync, so we're expecting to see something very similar again, although I will call out Ppotdot for getting not hit by the first panda this time. The second panda. I'm sorry, the second panda. So Windman stage again, Buster only an exercise in sliding and mashing. Just this improv room, you're looking at them shooting these cannons at the top of the jumps. You're looking at a couple of slides off platforms and walking off of platforms that give them the appropriate amount of height to get through without too much trouble. See Resistingframe there kind of catching on that ledge, but at the same time got a slide to go off there. I said it in the first race, but Ppotdot, it didn't look like was going for the clutch jumps. And here in the second race, he did go for the clutch jumps, and you can see why they're hard. Trying to slide and immediately cancel on a one-tile platform, not fun, especially after that first race where Ppotdot seemed to have a lot of trouble. Not like trouble, but just there are constant slides into the one-tile sort of step jumps. So nothing that's like too major, but it's maybe indicative of a sticky down button or a sticky up button or something like that. Fortunately, that is the checkpoint screen, and any Mega Man 6 runner will tell you pit deaths in Mega Man 6 are probably some of the fastest respawns in the series. So, not a big deal. They're still seeing Windman spawn at the same time, even if RF has a couple of seconds of an advantage. Again, they're canceling these slides just to advance the charge by like a frame or so at a time every time they do that. It's not much, but, you know, frames. Both of them jumping on the right wall, again, reducing just a little bit of lag every time they do that. We're going to call it as a 2-second lead for Resistingframe, which, again, with 15 stages remaining, is basically nothing. Both runners coming into Flame Man stage. So let's talk about... I don't know what to talk about in this stage. There's definitely the oil pits. There's not falling in the lit oil because it's essentially a spike. Resistingframe giving those 2 seconds back right there. But you have these sort of like in airbag flotation device enemies that are coming up here, or as we lovingly call them, the Roland types, because the second one you're going to see here is named Roland. First race, both runners hit by Roland. Resistingframe shot by him, I think. Ppotdot slid into him. This time, Roland... Maybe Roland has a vendetta against Resistingframe, but they both got through it. Ppotdot missing a shot there. Having picked up maybe, 3 or 4 seconds in the first half of the stage, definitely gave one back there. That's why 1 or 2 seconds is basically nothing in this game. You're going to see a lot of just an extra hit here, an extra hit there. Ppotdot stuck down there, still does not want the E-Tank. I know Ppotdot is, the quintessential not going to change my strats sort of runner. But he was right there and still didn't want it. And through all of that, through all the hits, through all of the scary slides on flaming spikes, they are in sync. Ppotdot just in a disaster pit there by the E-Tank. We've all been there. And the Resistingframe with those extra slides on the fire, that was scary. The Resistingframe getting hit by Flame Man, they probably would have been tied if not for that extra hit. But now it looks like it's about a 3-second gap again. 26, early 29, maybe 2.5 if you're generous. But again, with 14 stages remaining, essentially nothing. I think there were 4 lead changes in that stage alone. Maybe 5, because it needs to be an odd number for Pot to be up. The beginning of Blizzard Man stage does have a couple of just creepy jumps, making sure you get under some of these floating enemies. The last slide on that first screen I talked kind of about, you don't want to back cancel your slides on ice because you'll boomerang back. You definitely want to A cancel specifically there so that you can take it out and you can get out of the slide and then back boost without getting flung the other way. think Ppotdot missed a shot there, got a little extra lag. So a little time back for Resistingframe, who did get through there without that. Although, much like the previous race, Ppotdot just executing a little bit better in this stage. Resistingframe with a much scarier slide to that second spike gap than in the first race. But again, Ppotdot through that screen smooth like butter. Resistingframe just a little slower. I mean, if you're Resistingframe on a certain point of view, this is actually what you want. You want to have that same sort of consistency in the stage. You don't want to be falling behind more than you did in the previous race for certain. So if you're keeping up, your goal as Resistingframe is to play your game, get close to your PB, and hope Ppotdot finds a few more clutch jump pits. So simple fights from both of them. Wasn't really paying attention to the rolls, but it definitely looks like Resistingframe picked up some time in that fight. Blizzard Man, one of the bigger sources of RNG from just rolling around sometimes. Roughly 2 seconds, whereas the last stage it was roughly 3 seconds. So Resistingframe, despite kind of falling behind in that subroom a little bit, Blizzard Man gives all the time back. And we're into Plant Man stage. Not a true tie, but for all intents and purposes tied this early in the run. I am forced to go with a commentator jinx here and remind everyone that this was the stage in the first race where Resistingframe first fell way behind. The platform screen of the stage, of course, is a very dangerous screen, full of more traps even than just the platforms themselves. So we're going to be keeping an eye out for that. And again, the switch to Flame Man's weapon because Mega Man 6 kill it with fire. The weapon does 4 points of damage. It's way too strong. It's way too good. Don't not use this weapon. It's a very laggy stage in a lot of places because these grasshoppers exist. Ppotdot getting hit by the gorilla. So maybe a little bit of time back there for Resistingframe. Certainly that sort of plane enemy giving Resistingframe some time back. It was one of these fish, I think it was actually that fish right there, that claimed Resistingframe in the first race. Did he slide off of that platform? Again, with the platforms while closed, it's intended that you use the buster to open them. Without opening them, you have about 2 frames to jump off them. If you're walking, maybe 5 or 6. But he definitely just slipped off the platform there. Much like the first race, he's going to get these 2 flame drops just to make sure he can still play the rest of the stage his way. But not what you want to see, especially after in the first race, Resistingframe did come back to the screen again and just went right through it. So you were hoping this race he would be able to get through the screen. So Ppotdot with the 6 hit again. Just owning Plant Man today. Resistingframe again on the second try. No trouble with Plant Man stage. But the damage is done. Ppotdot again with quite the lead, moving into Tomahawk Man stage. Again, the Cowboy Joes, 6 hit points each. I think we're 5 for 5 on 6 hits on Plant Man. So that's really strong and a testament to the skill of both runners. So again, Tomahawk Man stage, besides having the excellent music, routed for almost exact flame ammo usage. just had to let that music play for a second. If you are familiar with Mega Man 6, you probably know that there are beat letters and alternate paths in some of these Robot Master stages. That's what that bottom path is. Of course, we're choosing the faster path in almost all situations. Well, in all situations. Which, in all but one situation, is the not beat letter path. Ppotdot probably screaming at that drop. Gets the lots of flame ammo back, and he will use exactly none of it in the rest of the stage. At least I think he will. Yeah, he's switching to plant barrier. Do need to watch for the exact ammo here. Ppotdot keeping Tomahawk Man close to the right-hand side of the screen so he can jump against the wall. Of course, Tomahawk Man will attack again and start the next part of his pattern upon his previous attack leaving the screen. So the closer he is to a wall, if he's shooting at the wall, it gets to be a little dangerous. Of course, Ppotdot knows what he's doing. Usually. Resistingframe, gonna get in here. Full health, full ammo. Let's go. So Ppotdot starts Yamato Man stage, racing towards the dragonflies. Just gotta keep an eye on Tomahawk Man. Looks like an easy fight. He's done. Don't have a good handle on when Ppotdot left, but he's certainly basically at the checkpoint of the next stage. So again, a pretty commanding lead. Plant Man, just a long stage and a bad one to take a death in. Yamato Man is the stage where we go the secret path to get to the letter. I believe the lower path is several extra screens, and just look at the speed of this screen transition as Ppotdot goes through the rest of the stage. Just imagine an extra 4 of those 2 or 3 second screen transitions. RF in the dragonfly screen. Doesn't quite take out all the shots. All you're really doing there is getting through without getting hit and trying to reduce a little bit of lag. Yamato Man jumping on Ppot. He's going every other attack here, so we don't know what he's doing. We know he's jumping now. That was quite the leap from Yamato Man. $13.46 teleport for Ppotdot. So that is going to be the lead that Resistingframe is dealing with. It's also part of the reason Wily 3 is such a long stage. Just the Robot Master spawning takes a long time in this game. So even with Resistingframe getting here, actually looks like just under 30 seconds late, as it were. Then gets to sit here for another 5 seconds while Yamato Man makes his entrance. So Ppotdot again here gets over that corner a little easier this time. Still scaring me, but that was really fast. The spike ceiling, just a potentially scary area that Ppotdot made look like a joke. 14:44. Thank you, Conster, for Resistingframe getting out of there. So about a minute. Not surprising. That's pretty much the same difference we had in the previous race. Now Ppotdot through the spike ceiling. Kind of running out of places in the robots for Resistingframe to catch up. Never say never, but certainly looks like Ppot is going to get through towards the castle stages. Resisting Frame again with that no pause, get through that spike ceiling screen. Nobody's saying Resisting Frame is a bad runner, but man, he's scaring me in races. I love it. Fortune may favor the bold as far as going for those things goes. Nightman standing still. Going with the age-old tactic of not dodging and seeing what happens. It's almost unfortunate that the Yamato Spear just goes right through that shield. Nightman... Well, it's unfortunate, actually, real talk here for Resisting Frame, because that means Ppotdot had a zero-jump Nightman, had basically no point in time where he could not hit Nightman, which it means faster fight, and yeah, on to Centaur Man stage. How did I not do this in the first race? Centaur Man. Another nice miracle jump from Ppotdot. Centaur Man. Nightman used Absorb, it's not very effective. Thank you, chat. Ppotdot just missing a jump there. Always better to get hit than hit spikes, though. Again, like both these runners, I'm sure kind of know. Ppotdot, especially after last race, even without a Resisting Frame mistake, Ppotdot's time in this game just grants him an extra, just a couple of mistakes he can make like that and lose 2 or 3 seconds and still probably win. Resisting Frame doesn't, I mean, you want to see the little mistakes too, because it all adds up, but RF certainly is looking for Ppotdot to have a major mistake. Only one jump for RF, very nice. Ppotdot really wants that ladder jump and is refusing to go without it. Given that, I'm almost assuming he either knows the situation or wants to play a third race anyway. But I mean, we said it in the first race a few times, but Ppotdot also the kind of runner that will execute his strat, whether or not it's wise to do so. RF getting through that spike pit in the checkpoint room without incident this time. That was a problem in the first race. Ppotdot 8 robots in about 18... We'll say 18:30. There might have been a 29 on the screen, but you know. Beam out just short of 42. I do like that with Centaur Man stage, you can see the true Robot Master gate with the beat letter. Sometimes, I know it can be easy to get through the second half of that stage with Jet equipped. I kind of wonder if it's better to go that way if you already have Jet equipped, but it doesn't really matter. You want to go with Knight. Learn the stage with Knight. No matter when you make that switch. It's so worth it. Ppotdot taking the extra hit there, so he's going to take a third hit on this screen. Again, little things that aren't going to make or break the race on their own, but it's a second. And again, like last race, let's see, is Ppotdot going to say what is slow window? Ppotdot, I think it was actually in practice today or last night, actually did jump into the spikes there. Said he has not done that in a very, very long time. So playing his game today, not caring about one practice run, and just sticking with fast window. Very nice. You love to see it. So here's rounders 2. Few flames on the floor, a few flames on the wall. Super fast fight for Ppotdot. For my money, I don't know how they hit them with the flame that well. I always have the fireballs dink off the side of the armor. So it's always great to see that fight go that fast. Resistingframe doing this screen the normal way, sacrificing all 30 of those frames to have peace of mind. Honk! Whoa! Okay, I mentioned it a little bit in the last race. You can't switch to a rush adapter while you're in a slide. That was the honk. That carried Ppotdot off the ledge. Still managed to switch to jet fast enough to not get spiked, and I don't think he was at the checkpoint yet. So that would have been quite a bit of time. So nice recovery. Gets a tomahawk drop. Again, we're on NES Mega Man, so neither runner gets any weapon ammo back between stages. So getting that small drop, it's not a lot, but, you know, you'll take it. So again, you see where Ppotdot's standing on that little kind of pair of pipes. That's your visual cue. That's where you want that, the arc of the tomahawk will hit the piston at most locations on the screen. Just a little bit of adjustment, moving to the left if it's at the top of the wall, moving to the right if it's on the bottom of the wall. Makes that fight a little easier once you know that trick. Wily 2 movement, though, still impressive. Love to see it. We didn't talk about Wily 2. What's Wily? X2, X3. X3, again, a stage that's over a giant chasm. You're looking at these sort of seesaw pendulum platforms that have their own weird behavior, especially if you're doing this without jet in like a buster only, POW suit only type category. So some very deliberate movements here, some scary jumps. Ppotdot makes it look easy again. Resistingframe's probably going to make it look easy too, honestly. Switching back to Buster in the middle section just because those slides are worth switching back for. Resistingframe having a little bit of trouble here. Looking at that 5 or 6 hit points left in the life meter. But he's through. Ppotdot going the low road. Again, no trouble with kind of a scary jump there, trying to manipulate the exact falling speed with jet. So Ppotdot punch through the first gate, holds a charge through the second gate. Gets the fast attack that he probably wanted, but looks the wrong way. Still a pretty easy Matongar Z. Out of there just short of 24 minutes. 23:58. Resistingframe also through the first half of Mr. X3. There should almost be a commentator fine there for every time I called these stages Wily 2 and Wily 3. I mean that in like the playful will pay for drinks commentator fine way. So Ppotdot into Mr. X4. This was a stage that gave Resistingframe a lot of trouble in the previous race. So we're definitely going to see how RF handles the second half of this stage. Make sure that Ppotdot can hold serve in it. It is another stage that's over a giant chasm. And just lots of birds, lots of turrets. Very nice Matongar Z from Resistingframe. No trouble there. And the cannon not giving Ppotdot a hard time at all. I still want to look at the replay of what happened to Resistingframe in the first race, because it felt like he did roughly the same thing, and I almost never see that cannon do what it did to him. Ppotdot only one hit from the giant tether ball this time. Type fail D out there in chat for Ppotdot, as he has once again stopped Mr. X, and oh god, it's Dr. Wily. This joke is not that old. Please to let me keep saying it. So again, Dr. Wily won. Another jet stage. Ppotdot shouldn't have too much trouble in it until we get to Mechasaurus and we see what happens. RF already there with one instance of it's almost impossible to get knocked into a pit in Mega Man 6. It's one of those birds. It's terrifying me. So again, the last screen, even more specifically, the last jump of X4, giving Resistingframe a heck of a time in the last race. We didn't even get to the last jump. That screen might just be in his head at this point. Not much you could do about it. And it's unfortunate because RF has been putting together some really great speedruns there on the left half of the screen. Just a couple of extra mistakes, and Ppotdot with he's the world record holder for a reason levels of scary consistency has only gotten better in the second race. And Resistingframe probably making that last jump thinking, where was that in the first race? So Ppotdot fighting Mechasaurus here. So the legend goes that the Yamato Spear moves 6 pixels a frame, but Mechasaurus' hitbox is only 4 pixels wide, so it's possible to just completely miss as a result of that. Ppotdot making it look easy, Resistingframe, fail D making it look easy, with the POW suit. In about 28 minutes, RF is out of Mr. X's castle, but a full stage behind once again. So Ppotdot not likely to let up on the gas and just keep going here as fast as he can. Just looking for Resistingframe to have a little less trouble in the next... Really, I guess this stage was the only one he had trouble with, because by the time we looked up at the end of Wily 3 for Ppotdot in the previous race, Resistingframe had caught all the way up into Wily 3. Of course, Wily 3 just a really long stage because of all those Robot Masters spawning. Of course, those platforms pretty much one slide long. If you have 1 foot off the ledge, you count that kind of extra half tile. So Ppotdot getting here to the big jumbo wheel cannon thing. Easy fight. Especially once you know that the windstorm also carries away the bubble shots. Easy fight. So Resistingframe coming into Mechasaurus. Ppotdot not making the first jump here. So again, you need all of the momentum from those fans to make those jumps. So Ppotdot less going to claim the free energy tank at that point so much as he couldn't make the jump without either switching to jet or going down there anyway. Your way, Ppotdot is loaded up on tomahawks now. Making his way up here. Again, it's Mega Man 6. What weapon do you want to use? Fire. Blizzard Man, conveniently the first robot at that point. Ppotdot getting 1 roll. Just saving that shot. He has another one left, but still saving that one. Again, You know, I wasn't paying attention. Did Ppotdot switch weapons in the teleport room? I've always been told you do not want to switch weapons in the teleport room itself. Switch them at the start of the fight, switch them after the fight, but never switch in the teleport room. Ppotdot just mowing down the robots. All these fights, except for Windman, are the same as the first go-around. Windman, again, you use Centaur Flash, which is a full-screen attack. So, not the most entertaining or difficult to figure out fights. Mostly fine to switch in the room, just a couple of positions are bad. Thanks, Colonel. Centaur Man, I haven't actually said it yet. As long as one of you are in iframes, that's how you avoid getting flashed. The old adage, if you get flashed, you've done something wrong, just means keep somebody in iframes. Nightman is down with 2 jumps into plant. Ppotdot has to keep this alive at this point. We're 5 for 5 on 6 hits. Six for 6 on 6 hits. Of course, that 7th hit, a little bit of trouble for Ppotdot. Gets out of there, though. Gets out of there. Like that explanation of how much damage do you want fire to do? Yes. It's not entirely wrong. In this case, yes equals 4. Ppotdot just taking the fall there, losing a couple of extra seconds. I'm not sure if we have seen a 33 yet in the tournament, but Ppotdot is out of Wily 3 well before the 33 mark on the timer. So we have a chance. Again, that little jump there, because if you slide off that ledge, you will not get that drop, and Ppotdot wants that drop. So here we go. Can Ppotdot get a 33 in this tournament? As RF mows down the refights. One missed shot into iframes for Ppotdot. Unlike the first race, Ppotdot has enough Tomahawk to feel comfortable in the kill. That is a 33-58 for Ppotdot, taking the match. And moving on to the finals of the Mega Man 6 tournament. Get your GGs out. And again, congratulations to Ppotdot on that. This Resistingframe is wrapping up. So again, Ppotdot proving why he has the best time in this game. Just letting nothing get in his way. Just a few clumsy things here and there. But nothing particularly reset-worthy, even. Maybe 1 or 2 things, I guess. But nonetheless, a 33 is an excellent time in this game. The 5 hours of warm-up really paid off. I'll have to remind me to ask him about that when he gets in here. And Ppotdot will join us after RF is done. RF trying to get a 7 for 7. 7 for 7, 6 hits on Plant Man. I love it. The 8th one, RF, I believe, quit the first race before he had the chance to take down Plant Man. Understandably so, given the situation, and wanting to basically burned the tape of the first race. We've all had those disaster races. No shame there. So we're going to watch Resistingframe finish up here. Still, did he like just not miss anything against Yamato Man? Just loaded with tomahawks. So RF is coming into the Wily machine now. Easy phase 1. The tomahawk kind of stays planted inside the sprite there. It just doesn't move during the transition from phase 1 to phase 2, so it's an easy way to get that hit in as soon as possible. Wily, please. What is that spawn? RF making the most of it. Probably can wrap it up here. There it is. 36-28. RF is done. Resistingframe's done. Get the GGs out in chat. And once again, before we move on to the interviews here, don't forget to follow the runners, just like it's spelled on the screen for their Twitch channels, twitch.tv/Ppotdot1 and twitch.tv/Resistingframe. And speaking of them, let me just make sure the invite gets out to RF. But we have Ppotdot here. How's it going?
Hello. It's going pretty good. That's the very first race 33 I'm aware of. That's I was like for a while like I was just going this is 33 pace I guess, and then as I was getting closer in the refights I'm like this is actually 33 pace. Okay. I had to be sure not to miss a hit on any of the bosses.
Yeah, you really turned it up there at the very end. Had a very clean finish. 33, any 33 is really good. So GG, sir.
Thank you very much.
Just a question out there from chat. ClickSpark was asking, are you going to do 5 hours of warm-up before every race from here on out?
No, all right. So I forgot that it was 7 Pacific, 7 my time instead of 7 Eastern. Even though I'm the one that said 10 Eastern when we were making scheduling stuff. For whatever reason, I had 7 in my head, and I changed it to 7 Eastern. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just be ready at 7 Eastern. So I turned on my stream at like 2:50, and it was getting to be 3:40. And RF shows up in chat. He's like, "Hey, I'm still at work." I'm like, "How are you still at work? The race is in 20 minutes." He's like, "What? It's 7. It's 10 Eastern, right?" And I re-looked at it. It's like, "Oh, you're correct. I'm the one who said that." Oops. So I had a very long warm-up session. I did take a break in the middle of it, but I had to like get warm, then take a break, and then get warm again. So a little bit awkward.
The only blemish on this run, you have a 33 here with the clutch jump. Was it the clutch jump death in Windman? And,
yes.
And just in general, it felt like there were a lot of spots where you might not have been hopping up slides. Your controller's working good for you?
My controller's working fine. It's all my hands and brain not connecting to do everything properly.
Still, the rest of the execution
you may have noticed.
All there.
You may have noticed, yeah, that I couldn't get the Centaur ladder jump. It took me like 7 tries or something like that to get it.
3358 with the Centaur ladder jump. Oh, jeez.
Yep. Yeah. And the ladder jump saves like double-digit frames if you get it the first time, and loses time every subsequent time that you try.
Well, you got it though, so it's in the run.
I did, yes. That's the one I just refused to not go for.
Still GG and some very clean runs there. We do have Resistingframe waiting patiently on the side here as well. GG RF.
Yo, GG RF.
That's 3 out of 5. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Do we have time? I don't think the ESG volunteers are telling me we have. Okay.
Nah, I mean, that's the world record holder for you, man. I mean, I just came into the race. I'm like, I'm gonna go all out minus the bomb skip, and whatever happens, happens. I was just, I just put my fingers on turbo, and whatever mistakes I did, just let it run with it. So, there's nothing I can do. I mean, his worst run today is still better than my best run in my career. So. That's
No,
just
you
life.
you
I
had a pair of just like really good runs there. It was just a couple of screens really because it was the same screens in both races that had it out for you, including
Yeah,
that
the
that
climber.
turret at the end of X4. I'm not. I don't think I've seen it
Did you
fire that
not kill
fast.
the turret? Did you
You
not kill the
killed the
last turret
turret
in
and it
X4?
shot anyway.
I have no idea what happened, man. Like I don't know, just like my timing was off there, and then the second one, I mistimed my jump, and I guess I didn't anticipate the P to pop out early, and just kind of it's a lot. It's just I just want to forget about today. You know,
No, in
I'm very selective with my memory, so I'm sure like I'm gonna start challenging Papad and act like I never lost. Yeah.
you honestly you should.
You're a great racer. Like beating Terex is no joke, and I was legit frightened that if I didn't have runs like this second one, uh, like more consistently, that you were gonna be able to beat me here. I've had a lot of like mid 35 runs recently, and it's like if I get a mid 35, I don't think that beats RF on average. So I just wanted to put on the best work I could, and I'm glad that I had this second run, um, that I was able to pull this out. But it's
Snap
only
me
because
out.
I knew how hard of a competitor that you were. So I was taking it as seriously as I could.
Yeah, I mean that was just. I mean, I knew that being safe was like not gonna cut it, so I was like, I gotta really try my best to get a good like PB running, because I was like, I know on average, even with the mistakes you make, you probably average like mid 34s and stuff like that. So I was like, I can if I pop a PB, I can probably take one. So that was my mindset. So I it just didn't work out.
I think you had it. It was really just those two screens. Everything else was great. You were keeping up. I think probably one of the more entertaining parts of this race actually was the second race's Blizzard Man stage. I think there were 5 lead changes in that stage alone, and it was beautiful. And you were just keeping up with
Sick.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just really trying to. I had my mind on turbo right there, just because I'm like, I gotta go fast with this guy. So, I went on as long as I could. I'm glad I made it to semifinals. Made some surprises. I saw some of the bracket predictions, and none of them had me here. So, glad to prove the naysayers wrong, at least on that one. Mellow.
Yeah, you.
Wow.
I would say that you knocked out the tournament favorite. So ending's all up in the air. I don't know what other people would say, but if I was based off of like all the races that me and Terex have done all time, I actually have had him as a favorite to win everything. So knocking him out is no joke at all. You did great, and you've got another match coming up. You got the third place match.
With
That is
yeah.
true.
Oh, I guess I gotta go for three then. Can't get gold, so I gotta settle for bronze. Or
You get
yeah.
you get either Madu or Cool Kid. Granted, we're at the phase of the tournament where that was going to happen either way.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna. That'll be another great race to watch. All these last races I've been really excited about.
One other question for you there, Papat, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm asking it anyway for the fans. Were you watching this at all in the background, or were you just going all out because you never don't go all out?
I typically don't watch my competitors in races, unless it's like we're sitting next to each other at a TV, um, like at
Right.
GDQ events, where it's like they're right there, so you get to see it. I typically don't watch like my competitors. I play as good as I can, and I sort of have a feel in the back of my mind of like, this is the type of times that I need to get to be able to win or to have a close match, or that I think I would lose with. Just kind of have that in the back of my head, based off of who I'm playing against.
It was little things like the very deliberate damage boost in the Centaur Man checkpoint screen versus there is no such thing as slow window, and kind of that like conflict of philosophy there that just had me kind of wondering, maybe.
Well, the deliberate damage boost was because I didn't slide both times. I missed my slide timing after the back boost. Otherwise, I would have gone for the good strat. So I had to do the backup for that. And fast window, I just always do fast window.
Oh, I know that one.
That's a 100% of the time type of thing.
Just the race situation kind of conversation, but we heard it here.
There were a couple of things in X4 that I took out because they're in X4, and they're very difficult and likely to kill you. Like in the first race, I wasn't super confident in my cancels. So I cut out clutch jumps in the first race, and in X4, I cut out like all the little 2-tile slides at the end of the towards the end of the stage, in the Colton screen and in the last screen. But I was feeling better about them in the second race, so I put most of them back in. The clutch jumps didn't pan out, but it's okay because that's an easy backup, and I got a life immediately afterwards, so I didn't have to worry about like margarining and then having 0 lives for Plant Man.
Oh man. Any thoughts on the matchup between Cool Kid and Madu, or any expectations you have out of that?
It's gonna be a great match. I don't know who I would put as the favorite in that match. I want to lean towards Madu, actually. Just a very slight edge. I haven't seen Cool Kid play 6 a lot recently, but I also know that he derusts and plays really well extremely quickly. And he's very consistent because he's Cool Kid.
Yeah.
So it's hard to judge, but I want to lean towards Madu very slightly.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. It might be Madu just based on like longevity and like with this game and sticking with it for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of going up against Cool Kid being Cool Kid and just being, good at most things he touches.
Yeah.
So Cool Kid could come in here and put on a show, or Cool Kid could, we saw this a lot in this race too. What happens when this jump goes wrong? What happens when this drop, even though it's Mega Man and Cool Kid does have, I'm told he's good, particularly in Mega Man games, but you never know when a drop is going to kill you.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So good luck in the final, Ppot. RF, any other thoughts beyond? I kind of agree with your previous thought. Let's go burn the tape from a couple of places, but otherwise good race.
Yeah, I can't curse, so I mean, I don't know if I can, but I won't. And just empty space X4 and empty space Plant Man. You can add whatever extra you want to add to that one, but yeah, other than that, I'm gonna be ready for the next race. So, selective memory. What happened, guys? What's up?
You put on a show, but Ppotdot is named Ppotdot, so you're going to the third place race. I'm sorry.
I forgot already.
So, yeah, if anybody is out there, they're asking when is this second semifinal race going to happen? It is on the schedule for tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you're at least in the, which one are we? We're the Western Hemisphere. It's on October 2nd, everybody. 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Madu and Cool Kid So that will be taking place approximately 14 and a half hours from the time I am saying these words live. That should be on SpeedGaming, the original. So go ahead and get ready to watch that race tomorrow. It will be a good one.
Heck yeah, it will.
If there's no other thoughts here, I will say again, go ahead, follow the runners. Again, twitch.tv/Ppotdot1, Ppotdot1. Although if you say Ppot.1, we'll have to correct you on that. On twitch.tv/Resistingframe. Follow the runners. We can't have these races without them. Thanks again to SpeedGaming and the family of networks for letting us mess around and play Mega Man and do speedruns and other fun things here. Definitely follow SpeedGaming if you haven't already. Support
Follow
him if
this
you can.
commentator. This guy is great.
Mr. Cab 55 is okay as well, I guess. I also play some Mega Man games. These guys are better than me, though. So follow them first, for sure. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, good day. Whatever time of day it happens to be. Just go out there, have fun, and be happy.
Yes, sir.
Later.
Happy Stone.